Make sure you pay attention. All right, let's take a look. So section 1.5, I know we already did a little bit of 1.5, but we didn't finish it, so we're going to finish it right now. Okay, this is going to be B. All right, so this is going to be part B. So Chelsea, we record every lesson that we do in here, and then I upload it to YouTube. Okay, you can ask anybody how to get to that, and I just don't want to go through it right now. So let's take a look at a word. Just write notes. All right, midpoints. We're going to talk about what a midpoint is. So let's draw a picture first. So what do you think is in that word right there, midpoint? Just somebody tell me. Yeah, mid, but mid would be short for what? The middle, right. It's basically the middle. Actually, I shouldn't put arrows on the end. Sorry about that. Let's put a dot at both ends. So what do we call that dot at the end of this thing? The end point. What do we call this? It's not a line because it has a beginning and an end. So what is it? It's a line segment, okay? So this is a line segment right here. So what I can do with my little program, I can click on it. See that little blue dot right in the middle? Okay, that is going to be the what? That's going to be the what? The midpoint, right. So if I call this X and this Y, let's call the midpoint M. It doesn't always have to be M just because it stands for midpoint. It has nothing to do with that. I don't know. I just picked an M. The book might have picked it, tell you the truth. I don't know. All right, so what does that mean to be the midpoint? Well, we could say it's in the middle, and that technically would be correct, all right? But basically, the definition of midpoint basically says it's the point that divides a line segment into two equal parts, to two equal line segments. You with me on that? Okay, so if this divides it into two equal line segments, then what I can do is put a little line right there. Oops, I thought I was going to a different color. Let's try this again. I could put a little line right there and a little line right there. Did we talk about these little marks? What do we call those marks? There's a little name we call them. They're called tick marks. They're called tick marks, okay? So I'll put a little tick mark here. I'll put a little tick mark right there. What that means is, if the tick mark is between 2 points, that means that line segment, that little tiny line segment, XM, would be equal to what? This line segment, MY, okay? So if those two segments are exactly equal to each other, guess where M is? M is in the middle, or M is the midpoint, okay? So M is the midpoint, okay? Because it's the point that's in the middle, okay? But again, technically, that's not the definition. We don't use the word middle for the definition. The definition says M is the midpoint if it divides this line segment into two equal line segments. That's basically what it says, okay? I'm not going to make you memorize definitions or anything, but know what it is, know what it does. So if I told you that the length of XM, let's say, was 5, then tell me what the length of line segment MY would be equal to. It would be 5, okay? Pretty simple. Would you agree? Okay, yeah, pretty easy. Now, let me show you how to write these things right here. Let me see. Yes. Remember I just said the length of line segment XM and the length of line segment MY? Here's how we would write it. I don't think we talked about this yesterday. Tell me if we did. What we would do is we'd put an XM with no line segment over top of it. Did we cover that yesterday? See, I teach this in both classes, and I forget which one I taught in which class, okay? So this means, I'll just put a little arrow to there. This means what? When there's no line over top of it. It means the length of line segment XM. Everybody see that? So when you just write XM, it's specifically telling you what the length of it is, okay? And if it asks for the length, if something said, find XM, what would your answer be? It would be 5, because what is it asking? When there's no line segment over top of it, it's asking for the length of line segment XM. You okay with that? It's a subtle difference, okay? This means the line segment XM. This means the what? The length of the line segment XM. Well, you can scooch over your desk if you need to, because I'm over about as far as I can go. Okay? All right, so that's what that would mean. So what if I ask you this? What if I just put MY next to each other and I said equals? What would you say there? You would say 5 as well. All right, now let's get really tricky. I'm just kidding, it's not that tricky. But what if I did this? What if I said XY is equal to? What would you say to that? You would say 10. That's right, because this is 5, this is 5. The total length would be 10. You with me on that? Okay, yeah, pretty simple. That's not that hard to figure out. Let's do an example that looks kind of like that, but it's going to be a little bit trickier than me just telling you the exact length of the line segment. We're going to do just a little bit of algebra. Bryce, put that away, or I'm going to take it.
Sorry, sir.
So let's draw another line, actually a line segment, not a line. All right, so I'm going to put a little point at the end of this, put a point at the end of this, and we're going to call it ABC. Put a point somewhere in here. Yeah, let's just do this. There's a little word talking about between. I don't want to waste time on that. It's pretty easy to understand. B is between A and C. If I say that B is between A and C, that means if I add up AB and I add it to BC, what's it going to equal? We just kind of went over this. Which is AC. No. I wouldn't say ABC. I would just say AC. Right, I would just say AC. All right. So now, with that in mind, let's do this. Let's go yellow. I think you can see yellow pretty good. So what if I said, instead of saying AB is 5 or 10 or 17 or whatever, I'm going to say AB. Actually, I didn't draw this accurately. Let me put this over here, just because the way that it works out. Okay, and let's see if I can grab that. Yep, put that right there. Okay, now let's do it again. Let me try to change colors again. There we go. I said I was going to go yellow, didn't I? Let's try that. All right, what if I said that the length of AB is this? That's the length of AB. You're like, well, what's up with that? Well, there's a variable, right? Okay, and we don't know what x is, so we don't really know what the length of AB is. But we do know it's 6x minus 1. Somebody told us that. Then the length of BC is 5x plus 10. Now, I'm not going to put a little tick mark here and a little tick mark here. Why not? Because those line segments are not equal to each other. That's exactly right, okay? But they do say this. Here's the question. Remember when I was going over the answers and I said, on your homework paper, you need to show your work and all that kind of stuff? This is the kind of problem where you need to write down, draw the little picture, write down what they ask for, do the work, do the steps, then show me what the answer is. If all you do is just stick the answer in, I'm not going to give you credit for it, okay? If you do too many of those, I start taking points off, all right? I take points off for a lot of stuff, don't I?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So watch. The question says find AB and BC. Now, right now, I couldn't find that because I don't know what. I don't know, somebody said it, X, okay? I don't know X, do I? Okay, I need to know one more piece of information, and they give it to you. They said, find that stuff if AC is equal to 75. Did I do this yesterday? I did, didn't I? I was like, yeah, this sounds familiar. That's okay. I was in a rush yesterday, so, yeah, well, we kind of did, but you guys were walking out the door. But let's just do it again. Sorry about that. We did do this yesterday. I do remember, but here we go. We'll do it again. Wouldn't hurt. So watch what we have. It says find AB and BC. So I got to find this length, and I got to find this length right here. If AC is 75. So what I like to do sometimes is just do one of these crazy looking things. There we go. That whole thing is 75. So what are these two little lengths? What does AB and BC do to make up 75? They add together, don't they? They add up. All right? You're writing this down, aren't you? Even though you might have written it yesterday, let's write it again today. So what we're going to do, let's go back to white. So watch this. I'm going to take AB, which is 6x minus 1, and I'm going to add it to BC. So what is BC? It's 5x plus 10. Now, what do those two segments add together to be? Wayne, you writing any of this down? It doesn't look like it. So what do these two segments add up to be? 75, because they told you right here that AC is 75. So these two segments add up to be 75. That's really all the geometry that you're going to do on this problem. And that was easy, wasn't it? Just seeing that these two segments, look, this little bit right here and this little bit right here add up to the whole thing. That's all the geometry that we're doing right now. Everybody see that? The rest is just doing the work, right? It's just doing algebra. And the whole reason you learn algebra, not the whole reason, but a big reason you learn the algebra is so that you can now do something like this and actually solve for something, find the length of something. And that's what we do a lot in geometry. Find the lengths of segments, find the measure of angles. That's what we try to do. So now let's do some algebra very quickly here. We're going to add up like terms. Do you remember this from last year? You did this last year, didn't you? So let's add like terms. I got a 6x. What other like term is with an x? The 5x. So 6x plus 5x is 11x. Now let's just add the regular numbers. I've got a negative 1, right? Minus 1 is a negative 1. And I add it to a 10. What's negative 1 plus 10? Is it positive or negative? Positive, so I put plus 9. And that equals what? 75. You with me? So what was the geometry? The geometry was just to set up this equation. The rest is just algebra. Hopefully, you've had this stuff last year, okay? But we're going to go through it slow, step by step, in case you forgot about it, okay? So watch what we do here. We want to get x by itself. So the first thing we get rid of is what's being added or subtracted. What is being added or subtracted to the x? The 9. So how do I get rid of a plus 9? I subtract a 9. See, you learned something from Algebra 1, didn't you? If I subtract a 9 from the left side, I have to subtract from the right side, okay? So whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other side. Isn't that one of the major rules that you learned last year? Absolutely. So let's do that. What's 9 minus 9 is 0, or we say they do what? They cancel out. What are you left with on the left? 11x. And what do we have right here? 66. So 75 minus 9 is 66. One more step and we're not done, but we're getting closer. So how do we get rid of the 11? Because it's being multiplied, right? We always do the opposite. It's being multiplied, so we get rid of it by dividing. Divide both sides by 11, so x is 6. Now, do I just circle that and that's my answer? Is it? What did they ask? What was the question? They said, find what? Now, listen what I just said. We're not just going to say find AB. If it's an AB with no line over top of it, let's be real specific. We're not just finding AB, we're finding the what? The measurement or the what? What did I write down in your notes? The length of, okay? We're finding the length of AB. Now, earlier I said, before we did that 75 thing, I said, is there any way to know the length of AB, what the actual length is? No. Is there any way to know what the actual length of BC is? No, because we didn't know what? What did you said? We didn't know x, correct? Okay, but now guess what? We know x, okay? We figured out what x is. So now what we're going to do is now we're going to solve for AB, all right? So let's, I don't know, what color you can see that blue, I think. We'll use blue. Huh? So watch, AB, what's AB equal to? 6x minus 1, right? So now that we know the x, now we can plug this in for this x right here. So we've got 6 times what? 6, and then minus 1. What's that? 35. Okay, 6 times 6 is 36, minus 1 is 35. So what's the length of AB? It's 35. Now, I don't know if it's in centimeters or inches or miles or whatever. Doesn't make any difference. Okay, it's just 35. We're not finished because it asks for one more thing. It also asks for BC. Yes. Yes. There's 2 ways to do it, okay? And John brought up the way that I did it yesterday at the end of class as everybody was pretty much walking out, okay? You know the whole thing is 75, don't you? Oops. That's right. Exactly right. So you know the whole thing's 75. You know this little bit right there is 35. So what do you do to those to find out what's left over? Just subtract them, okay? So that's an easy way to do it, isn't it? And this is what? BC, right? So let's put BC equals. So BC equals, say it, Wayne? 40. All right. There's another way you could have found it as well. You watching? That's definitely the easiest way. If it was me, I would do it that way, okay? But I'm going to show you another way. You could also find BC by plugging that x in to this stuff right here. Okay, so that 5x plus 10. Let's take that x, which is 6, and put it in. And let's just see if we get the same answer. We should, right? If we don't, we did something wrong. All right, so we did 5 times what? 6. I see it. It works, doesn't it? 5 times 6, 30 plus 10 is 40. So you don't have to do it both ways, but I'm just showing you both ways just to show you that it does work. Okay? So that's not so bad, is it? We good with that? All right. That's pretty much where we left off yesterday, so I don't have much time, but we are going to start a little bit of new stuff, all right? I may not finish it today, so that could change. So that could change our lesson plans for the week. We'll still have the quiz on Friday no matter what, because it only goes up to 1-4. So this stuff's not even going to be on the quiz on Friday. But so we're still going to have the quiz on Friday. So no matter how much we do this week, we'll still have the quiz. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I know. That's why I was saying that. All right. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about I didn't talk about angles in here yet, did I? Even though I gave you some questions. I didn't do the obtuse and did I do all that stuff? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong page. My bad. Let me see. I think that's enough for you to do the rest of the homework. So here, let's finish up the rest of the homework. I think I've given you enough to do that. Let me just take a look at the book real quick just to make sure I've covered everything. So I went through the whole lesson and I did acute, obtuse, and right. I did? I don't think I did that. Yeah. You guys are... Oh, really? Okay, so we got up to that? We only got to that. All right. I should have looked at the videos myself because, again, I get confused. So let's... Did we do perpendicular lines? We didn't do that? Okay. All right. So let me do teach a little bit here. Here we go. We're not finished. So let's... You said that we did a couple of these already? Okay. So let me just do this as a review. So if this is less than 90, what kind of an angle is this? It's acute. Okay. And then if it's like this, and if it's like this, it's supposed to hit the bottom of it right there. Okay, this is more than 90, so it's what? Obtuse. And that's where we ended with the angles. Okay, what if we had this? We already talked about it today when we went over the answers. Wayne, if you don't turn around, I'm going to write you up. I promise, okay? I can't take all this talk when I'm trying to teach something. You don't even have your notes out in front of you. You should be taking notes. I don't care. You should still be writing it down. So what kind of an angle do we have? Would it be a right angle? I think we talked about this. Is it a 90-degree angle? How do you know? How do you know it's not 90.001? How do you know? Put a square there. Put a little square. Now is it 90? Do you know it's 90 right now? Do you? No, you don't. You don't know it's 90. Oh, my word. Okay, settle down. Shh. That's enough. Wait a minute. Let me take questions. If everybody would be quiet, then I could take a question. Leona. Absolutely. 100%. You cannot just look at it and say it sure looks like a right angle because you don't know until you put a little box there. Okay? If you put the box there, then you can say it's a right angle. And because it indicates that it's a right angle. Because listen to me. Listen. Shh. Listen means don't talk. We're still talking. You guys did so well yesterday, and now you're back to the way it was. I don't want that. I need you to pay attention to me. Don't leave yet. Sit down. You took my time. I'm going to take your time. So here's the deal. I said don't pack up. Stop. Don't pack up. Don't do it. I don't care. I could have made that angle like 90.1 or 90.001 or 89.99. It probably would not look any different than it does right now. You cannot assume just because you have a line going like this and a line going like this that it's a right angle. What's the only thing that tells you that this is a right angle? If it puts a little box there. Okay, so what I want you to do is the homework 34 to 45. So you're going to do 34 to 45, and that will be due tomorrow.